You can manifest anything you want in life because it is your divine birthright. Sounds radical? If you are wanting to call in a new partner, maybe have financial freedom, financial abundance, you want to manifest a new career, all of these are very attainable. But what's in the way for you to manifest this? Your thoughts. It's all your thoughts. Believe it or not, it's that simple. What's in the way are your thoughts. And what are your thoughts? Limiting beliefs, concepts, perceptions of ourself, of others, of the world, whatever it is, that is what's in the way. And usually it's tucked in our subconscious mind. If you don't know me, my name's Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach. And I want to talk about how you can manifest anything you want. And I want to share some stories with you. But first, I want to share a quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's from Henry Ford. I want to talk about how you can manifest. And I want to talk about how I do it in my work: release, rewrite, receive. When I do a release, rewrite, receive session, either in a private or group, I have you write an intention. So during this video, I want you to think about one thing that you want to manifest and set that intention. It could be wanting a new partner, or wanting to reconcile with someone, or making more money. But I want you to get really specific. So let's say you want to make more money per month. So you set an intention: I allow myself to make X amount of money per month easily. Easily is a trigger word because the mind will kick in and say, well, it hasn't been that easy before. Well, what if I don't make it? Well, easier said than done. All of that are limiting beliefs. And those are what you want to release, to get out of the way, and to let those thoughts dissolve so that you can have what you want. It's really simple. What is it that you want? What desire is it that you are really wanting but feel like it's impossible? You're doubting. And guess what? Doubts are more or less fears. And what are fears? Thoughts. Almost every thought is more or less fear. And that comes from Laura Lucille, my teacher. When she said that to me, I was like, wow. I really was shocked when she said that. But really, if you think about it, whenever you want something, notice how your mind will think of all the reasons why it's not possible. It's almost like trying to protect you from something that you could absolutely have. And the soul is all about yes, and the mind is all about no. It's too late, it's too early, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too young, whatever it is. The world has a terrible economy. This country's terrible. All of these things are holding us back from wanting to and having the most beautiful experiences that we came here to experience. And you don't have to be defined by the world. So many people, including myself, are victims of circumstances, and we become apathetic. The world gets very much into apathy. Why do you think that Joe Dispenza retreats and Tony Robbins retreats has everyone dancing to music? It dawned on me recently why they do that. It's to pull people out of apathy. And the reason why is because apathy, you cannot manifest when you're in apathy. It's a vibration that is just resigned, like, well, such is life. Well, that's life. And so many people live in apathy. The reason why they do these things is they pull you out, and you go into a higher frequency. And when you're in the higher frequency, you can move mountains because you are the universe. And the universe knows no boundaries, there's no rules. The universe can say, I want this, and it appears. I can go so deep. I am going to go deep, okay? There are three worlds, and this is according to my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. There are three worlds that we live in at all times, at every moment: the causal, astral, and physical. The causal is all thought. Astral is the energy body, the chakras, the energy. Physical is the material. Even though it seems solid, as we know, it's not. The physical world is just vibration, vibrating at a different frequency that appears to be solid. And what's super cool about really knowing who you are, beingness, the universe, and knowing these three worlds where you are the causal and astral and physical, the causal is thinking at every moment thoughts. And guess what, guys? This is a bitter pill to swallow. But what you think is what appears out there. So if you don't like your life, change your thoughts. And that's from Lester Levinson. Lester Levinson was my teacher's teacher. She spent many years with him, and he started the Sedona method, which you should definitely check out on YouTube, and some of his talks too. If you know who you are and you know those three worlds, then you can become aware of your thoughts. And releasing is all about becoming aware and challenging your thoughts instead of just buying them and being married to them and suffering. Because most of us suffer, especially in relationships where we may have a painful breakup, or maybe we want to manifest a partner and we haven't. And what's going on is we have these thoughts that are repeating in the background over and over and over again. And most of those thoughts come from the conditioning from our childhood all the way up to the present moment. And I will get into that in a moment. But these thoughts are what are designing our experiencing out there. So once you start to take a step back as beingness, as consciousness, and you start to see your thoughts, you can actually start to empower yourself, take your power back. You're not a victim of circumstances. And you can start to let go and release those thoughts that are controlling your life. It is so powerful. And with the work that I do, release, rewrite, receive, the next step is writing a new script. And what are you doing when you're writing a new script? You're thinking of what you want. The universe that you are is all about yes. And the mind is all about no. It's not time, it's too late, it's too early. The universe within us is like a child. I want ice cream. And what do children do? They don't think about the consequences of ice cream. They don't think they're going to get fat. They just want it, and they want it now. And so that's the attitude you should have when you are wanting to manifest something. When you want to manifest something and you set an intention, like I allow myself to have the perfect partner, or I allow myself to have financial stability, or X amount per month, the key is to have conviction behind it. Despite all appearances to the contrary, I allow it to be so. And why are you saying I allow? Because you're coming from your soul, from the universe, the expanded universe, the beingness that you are, saying I allow for it. Why? Because you are perfect health, perfect love, perfect wealth. But unfortunately, we, through conditioning of many lifetimes, not just this one, we have this running repetitive thinking in the background. And the thoughts are the conditioning from our parents, maybe how they treated us, what decisions we made about ourselves, what their relationship to money is, how we adopted that. And then we're stuck because maybe they had lack consciousness, scarcity consciousness. All of these conditioning thoughts, conditioned thoughts, are what we start to take a step back and go, maybe I can change these. Maybe I can let them go and start thinking of something different and see what the outcome is out there. It's so simple, we don't even see it. We are so drunk with our thoughts. We are so married to our thoughts that we don't even question them. And releasing is about questioning them. Because guess what? We are none of those thoughts. And what's so cool about it is that thoughts, you can't even see them. I can't even show you my thought. It's not tangible, yet we let those thoughts completely overtake us. And guess what? They're not our thoughts anyway. We own them. And how do we own them? We start making stories. We condense those thoughts into stories about who we think we are. And we've been many things. We've had many characters, many lifetimes. And we're really not these massive body minds. We think we are, but we're not. We're energy. We are the universe. We are oneness. We are expanded consciousness. I know that's a little deep, but if you really get it, then you don't take the ego that you have as serious. And it doesn't mean you poo-poo the ego or you suppress it. You allow it to be. You allow yourself to be. In fact, you're even more expressed, you're more free when you realize that you are not the body, that you're not the mind, and that you don't have to own all of these thoughts that you've been holding on to about who you think you are, who you think that person is. And because the more that you're thinking that this person is this way, that's what you're going to experience. Or you think that a circumstance is a certain way and it's never going to change, guess what? You just wrote the script. That's exactly how it's going to be. It won't change. But when you start to change your thoughts, everything out there starts to change. You can even do it with people. It's incredible. It is. I've seen people harmonize relationships. I've seen them come back together to reconcile. I've seen people manifest their partners, manifest more money, manifest better health. And I want to share my personal stories because I just touched on those three things. There were several things that have happened in my life, and I'm sure if you've listened to some of my other videos, you may already know some of the stories. But I got breast cancer, and that was as a result of many, many thoughts that accumulated where I was coming from hurt, trauma from childhood all the way into adulthood, and it just accumulated and came to a head. And I knew the emotional component of it. And so I was really tackling the emotional side, doing the release work, doing the energy healing, which is, and the way I do it is release work. And I also went to the doctor and I did certain procedures that made me cancer free. So here I am, cancer free. The key to that is to let go of the fear of it coming back, because we can create that. And you don't want to create that. I don't want to create that. I have released that fear and living in a new timeline, cancer free. And this is what's so fun about release, rewrite, receive, is that you can create a new timeline and live into that timeline. You can change the cells in your body to be healthy and well by making up your mind that you are healthy and well. My teacher, when I was diagnosed, or I wasn't diagnosed yet, but I knew something was wrong in 2021, I believe. And she said that if you don't have the thought of illness, it's impossible to be in your body. And it is so true. I could not wrap my head around that at the time. I wasn't ready to really put that into practice, but finally I did. And I realized that absolutely you can change your body chemistry by changing your mind. I recently had a very minor little issue in my body, and I was on vacation, and I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. I just don't have time for this. And I'm not kidding, guys. It disappeared the next day. It was gone. And I got proof because I had to go to a normal checkup doctor, a week later, and they were like, yeah, there's nothing wrong. Okay. So that is just so fun. I love it. It's exciting. So that was my health issue. My relationship issue, which I mentioned in several videos, was that I had this underlying subconscious belief that men didn't choose me because of my past. I made up my mind at some point whenever I was young that men don't choose me. So guess what? That's what kept appearing, and I kept choosing avoidant partners. And when we are thinking certain thoughts about ourselves, it plays out. I mean, we will attract people that will reflect it right back to us. And so if you don't like the relationship dynamic that you have or what you've had in the past, take a look at what you're telling yourself. What kind of limiting beliefs are you holding on to about yourself? And most of those are subconscious. So if you have a practitioner like me where I'm working with you and I'm going in and I'm tuning into your consciousness and I'm seeing those subconscious stories, I can help you to become conscious of them and release them and put something else back in and revitalize the energy in the body and to start to think about what you want, not what you don't want, and really let that those thoughts go. It's really cool. So the way I was able to change was doing that release healing work within myself. And I even realized that this last partner I had, who I believe it has avoidant and narcissistic tendencies, I was like, oh my God, wait a minute, I think I'm an avoidant. And the reason why I discovered that is because, and I saw somebody else talk about this too, is that I don't think that, normally avoidant people go after anxiously attached. I think sometimes the avoidants are attracted to avoidance. That's my opinion. But where I was an avoidant was that growing up, it wasn't safe to be myself. It wasn't safe to be open and vulnerable. So I chose somebody to reinforce that I didn't have to be open and vulnerable and that I could stay an avoidant with another avoidant. And when I discovered that, I was like, wow, that's a game changer right there. That's not what I want. Not at all. What I want is emotional intimacy. And I have that now. And that is what you can absolutely count on when you let go of these thoughts that you have subconsciously been holding on to. And the last one is on my finances. In my business, I've been in business for quite a while, but there was a time when I really doubted if this was going to work, if people are going to listen. And I kept at it and I didn't give up. And despite all appearances to the contrary, I kept going, but I had to really navigate through a lot of doubts. There were so many doubts. And that's where I see people getting stuck, especially in the most important things in their life, like relationships, partnerships, and money and health. This way that I have been trained, not only from my teacher, but also my energy healers that I have worked with, this is the fastest and the best way that I know how and what I've experienced. I even saw another practitioner on social media say that this is medicine. Energy healing is medicine. And I know, of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical doctor, but I feel like this is going to be so much needed in the future and it will be considered and part of the medical field. MD Anderson is already doing tests on uh, energy healing. So look that up. I know I'll try to put that in the description so that you can look that up. But I just heard about it and I was fascinated. It was so amazing. So energy healing is very, very potent. Why? Because we're all being of energy. We're all one. No one is separate. And that's the thing. One of the main reasons why we don't manifest is because we feel like we're separate from what we want. You want it, but you feel separate from it. And that's what you need to release, is feeling separate from it. Because the whole get up setup of this universe, the whole delusion is that we think we're separate from it. And we're not. We're actually, we are everything we want. We are the love. We are the health. We are the wealth. Everything in this universe is ours. And if we don't treat it like that, then we're coming from a sense of lack of love, lack of health, lack of wealth. And I just talked to a friend of mine that said she works in a hospital, and she said, I know a group of people that think the economy is terrible and they're struggling. And then I know another group of people that thinks doesn't even think about the economy, and they're thriving. So, what kind of experience do you want to have? And don't let the world dictate and make you a victim of circumstances, no matter what. I had a friend during the pandemic that went to France with her husband and was sipping tea at a sweet little cafe while there were riots going on a few blocks down and fires and everything. And they were having a wonderful time. So, what do you want to experience? Don't go with the masses. If you don't want those kind of experiences, then start thinking of what you want, and actually, you will have those experiences, even if the collective is focused on what the world is doing. That's how you succeed. That's how you can be successful in your wealth and in your health. I mean, right now, there is so many diseases on the rise in this country, and it's all over social media. And all of it is limitation, 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 limitation. And subconsciously, you're getting all this information put into your field, and that's going to push, and that's going to contribute to creating what you don't want. So I would highly recommend don't watch that stuff. Easier said than done if you're doom scrolling, but it's not where you want to go. And if you make up your mind to be healthy, you will be healthy. And I know it sounds so simple and maybe even woo woo, but it really is true. What you resist persists, what you fear appears. And that's from some quotes from The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Really take a look at what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And how is this designing your life? And if you don't like it, change your thoughts and see what happens. If you have benefited from this video, you are welcome to join my community. Everything is in the description in this video and in my channel. I hope you like and subscribe, and I wish you all the best to manifest anything and everything that you want.